Hello YouTube, I'm making this video as a general overview for the new Face Blades Cav folder, which recently came out. Realizing, these things on the secondary market, from what I've seen, have gone, twice, if not three times what the MSRP is, which it is pretty steep for this one. It's about $360, and that's before tax and shipping. I've had a little bit of time to play around with it, wanted to give my thoughts on it. Let me come out there and say I am a huge Face Blades enthusiast. Have plenty of their fixed blades. I also have their SHPOS folder, which again, from a collector's standpoint, I think is a really cool knife. With that, if you are thinking about picking up this blade on the next drop, I have confirmed with Face Blades that they will be releasing more in the near future. So please, for the love of God, a huge part of me making this video is, don't spend 2-3 times retail on this. Just wait. You can wait for there to be more on the market. With that, I'll kind of jump right into it. This is going to be kind of like a pros and cons. I had originally posted this review, which I wrote out actually on one of the fan pages, and it got the axe. But again, I want to get everyone the information based on my recommendations and comparing it to other folders that I've used, and kind of go from there. So here we go. All right, first I want to go over the pros of the Cav folder, and first and foremost, I think like everyone can agree, if you collect Face Blades, this is a good one to have in your collection, right? They have not released too many folders or iterations thereof, so this is a pretty cool piece, right? The Cav is one of my favorite profiled blades. I have a Cav Junior right here that I'm going to use for comparison, but definite cool factor there, and being a part of your collection. The other thing that stuck out to me, as soon as I opened this thing, the blade centered when it's closed. That's really important to me. I kind of equate that to the FDR's broken window theory. So that looked good right out of the box. No tinkering with it, no tightening anything. It came out just like that. Second thing is the fact that this is not a limited run is pretty cool, right? So a lot of Face Blades, they'll release 1, 2, 7 of them, so they're really hard to get. And Face Blades, 12 o'clock on Saturdays, that's a pretty hectic time, and everyone's rushing to get blades. This one, since it is production, it's not serialized or anything like that, should be able to pick one up, so it's cool to have one that is accessible to a bunch of different people. All right, the next thing that I noticed is the blade thickness, which again, I'm not going to, we'll see if I can get it to focus here. I guess it won't. I don't have the specs on this. I'm not gonna break out my calipers or anything like that, but this thing is thick. For the size of the blade, it is really thick. It's very reminiscent of a Strider SNG SMF. You pick it up and you're like, wow, this handle is so small, this blade is so small, but this blade is thick. As far as comparisons go for blade thickness, I have a Strider SMF I could compare it to, but here's next to a Spyderco Delica, so definitely a lot thicker than that, and one that you're going to see here in a little bit. We got a Chris Reeve here, again, even thicker than that. So for me, those are the pros basically. And next we'll get into some of the cons that I saw. All right, so the first con we're going to go through, I know I already kind of hit on it, but price. For the price, again, this costs $360 or $365. Add on to that $14 for shipping, plus, in California, they, hit you with a really nice tax. So all told, my buddy that I borrowed this from has about $420 in it. And so for that price, I tried to look in my collection and be like, all right, well, what's comparable to the size, to the shape, to kind of the intended audience, which for me, this is just a really nice EDC knife with a pocket clip, fits in there. You can carry it anywhere. You're not going to be out of regs or anything like that for legal ordinances. And the closest thing that I had was this Chris Reeve Inoski, right? So this knife, to me, they're in the same price ballpark, and as soon as I saw that, I kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit, because I was like, I cannot believe that for this price, these are in the same class of knives. And I've always kind of said it, and I stick by it, that folding companies, they can get into fixed blades, but fixed blades companies trying to make folders, usually there's something to be desired, and unless the price point is right, I tend to avoid them. All right, the second con that I wanted to cover was this Cav folder, the fit and finish compared to the SHPOS Gen 3. I know this knife, which I do own, I bought it, I think it's really cool. To me, it's, you know, the tooling, the finish on it, it's very futuristic, monolithic in design. Everything kind of looks like it was custom made for this knife. Contrast that to the Cav folder, which for me, I'm not trying to be a smartass when I say this. Like when I picked this thing up, I literally feel like they sent me a box of pieces and I screwed them together and made a knife. So that's the second con for me is SHPOS, say what you will about it. It looks cool, fit and finish is there. Action can be a little bit sticky. I also, as other videos have pointed out, don't really like the fact that this razor sharp blade kind of goes through the hole here, but you know, it is what it is. To me, fit and finish goes to the SHPOS, and I was kind of expecting or hoping we'd see the same thing on the Cav folder. All right, the next kind of con, which I picked up, you know, once I decided which price point that, you know, which knife I had, which fell in the same price point as the Cav folder, was the action, right? So normally with folding knives, especially at this price point, like I want to be able to open this and have that first detent, which actually holds the blade in, which is really good. But then after that, there's a second one right about here. And then there's a third one right here. And then it finally, like really, this could like stand up on itself. Then there's that last detent that really clicks. Contrast that to the Chris Reeve, which again, I have that first detent. I'm not flipping this thing open or anything. First detent, you can hear it. I pull it out and I want it to be buttery smooth the entire time until I get to lock up. And that sound too, I mean, it sounds like a G-Wagon closing. This thing kind of sounds like a Honda Civic or something that I could tighten up or do better with. I'm not sure, but so hope you were able to hear that on the video. Again, this is just a general overview and I wasn't expecting to do this. All right, and I apologize that this video is so choppy. I literally don't know what I'm saying. I'm just kind of going through my notes that I had written down. The next thing that I wanted to say was the handle thickness, right? I mean, you'll notice compared to the Chris Reeve, it is a little bit thinner as far as height goes, but the width is not even close. I mean, that backspacer is monstrous. And with that, if you kind of look down, the blade does not need that much room, nor does it help you. Again, like I have huge hands, but I routinely carry this Chris Reeve as well as this mini Griptilian, and I don't need side-to-side real estate. If anything, I need that height to be a little bit taller. So with that, I'm kind of confused as to why they made it, you know, so short and fat, if you will. All right, my next con, which again, it speaks to the fit and finish of this, is this torque screw that's kind of holding in the lock bar detent here. I don't know if you can see it, but it sticks out, right? Like, I mean, it looks weird, and maybe I'm spoiled. Maybe I just have too many nice folding knives, but again, for the price point, I want it to be a little bit more monolithic. I don't know, just kind of nitpicky, but again, I'm allowed to be because of the price that this thing is calling for. All right, to finish up this video, what I wanted to do is just kind of compare this Cav folder to, you know, both similar knives that you all might have, you know, laying at home, or some other ones where that I kind of think it compares to. Obviously, the Chris Reeve, to me, it's almost an exact match, right? Like, I mean, same size, same handle length for all intents and purposes, same blade, whatever. We've already gone over that. Compared to a normal Spyderco Delica, I don't know if you guys can see it better this way. Definitely larger, the blade's fatter, doesn't have as good ergos as the Delica, but again, they're not knives that should be compared at all. However, I am, because, you know, a lot of people really like this knife, as they should. The other one that it's really close to is the Benchmade Mini Griptilian right here. You can kind of see those together. Very comparable to that. But again, the Griptilian definitely thinner. Chris Reeve, definitely thinner. Another one that I've kind of compared it to since I've looked at what knives I have is a Tad Dauntless, but this is the Hinder version of it. To me, obviously the frame's a lot bigger, the blade's a little bit thicker, but to me the ergonomics of the Hinder are just, I mean, Rick Hinder does what he does kind of thing. So there it is compared to that. And then finally, the last comparison that I wanted to make was to a Cav Junior, right? So this is the Cav folder, and a lot of people have made jokes online about just how tiny this is, which that's one thing that I'll say, I do not have issue with the size of the blade, right? Like, I mean, 90% of the tasks that anyone who likes pocket knives, likes folders does, this will meet the mail for. But that being said, you know, I do have it, so I was going to show it, but here it is compared to a Cav Junior. So I'll put that there, and here's the Cav folder, so you can see, I mean, even the Junior, which again, I kind of thought, when I saw pictures of this on Instagram, I thought, oh, it's going to be something very similar to the Cav Junior blade profile and blade length, blade thickness, but they're going to put it in a folder, and as you can see, that was not the case. So so with that, like, let me see here. All right, to wrap things up here, and again, I apologize for the really shoddy video work, but again, just kind of wanted to get the word out there, because I know sometimes prior to me purchasing a knife, I'll go on YouTube, try to look for reviews on a knife that I'm kind of thinking about, and it has helped out in the past. Feel free to ask me any other questions about it too, should they come to you. But the bottom line for me is it is a really cool folder, right? Like, I think if you collect half-face blades, if you like kind of obscure folders, it's an important part of history, right? So we see a lot of these smaller companies, etc., once they get bigger, you know, obviously whether it's the machines they have, the designs, they've just been doing it for so many years, they will improve on this folder for sure. And I don't know, you know, 5 years, 10 years down the road, this will be a good piece to have if you're a collector. If you are, you know, an E4 in the Marine Corps and you're like, oh, I really want to get a folding knife, don't buy this, okay? Like, I mean, there's so many better options out there. But if you are a collector, if you realize the importance that it has to the half-face blades story, go ahead and grab it. The other thing is, like, I just think that the price, right? So the price where it's at right now is completely outrageous, I think, for what's out there. And again, maybe I'm just picky, maybe I've just been blessed to have really nice folding knives, or, you know, figuring out what I want and then going that route. But I would, and I really put a lot of thought into this before I was gonna say it, but I'd be into this knife for about $175, right? Like, I like the fact that it's titanium. You know, I think that the logo's cool, but that's pretty much where the love affair ends. I would take a mini Griptilian any day of the week. I really would. Obviously, like, you know, you lose a mini Griptilian, you're, oh man, that sucks. You lose one of these, you're either paying $600 on the secondary market right now, or you know, you're out of knife. So hopefully that was helpful. Please feel free to hit me up in the comments if you have any questions. Again, apologize for how bad this video was, but you know, just kind of wanted to get the word out there. So take care and keep buying knives.